Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy at astrology. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing Earth as the supreme teacher. And by the end of this video, hopefully you will have gained a new perspective, opened a new Scooby-Doo door to see a different perspective on why our Earthship, why Mother Earth, why Gaia, why Pachamama is so fucking dope. And so before we do talk about that and get into all the juicy details, a couple quick announcements. If you're new to the channel, hey, welcome. Join us. We have cookies. Just kidding. But we have like energetic cookies. We have cerebral chocolate for Thanksgiving or whatever this is. What is this? What is today or coming up? February 14th, Valentine's Day. We have cerebral chocolate covered cherries. They're here every time, every day. And I put up a video. It was all sorts of what? Mercury's retrograde. But with that said, you're welcome to join us. Hit the like button if you've giggled or smiled at all so far, or if this video brings you any value whatsoever. And let's be honest, you already know it is, because we're going to talk about the dopitude of Mother Earth. And in the process of doing that, you help other people get this information for free. And so that's what's so dope about the whole situation of liking. It costs you nothing and helps other people get this information. And they don't need to do nothing but hit the like button themselves. And it's like this beautiful little like, so thank you for everybody who does that. I appreciate you. Okay, now let's get into it. Also, if you want to book a session with me, you can do that in the address down below in the description box. Okay, great. Now, back to the topic at hand. Why is Mother Earth so effing dope? And why is she the supreme teacher? Mother Earth, I sit there and I watch her. Have you ever sat with nature? Have you ever really just sat with nature? Of course you have. You're watching this video. You're probably plant people. Put me like a little plant and a heart in the comments if you're like really into plants. But like, really, have you like sat with nature? Like, when's the last time you sat and just watched and contemplated nature? Think about it. Think about it. Think about a field with me. Think about a forest with me. What do we see? We see succession coming in. If there's been a disturbance in the environment, I'm going to use ecological terms and just tie them in, and we're going to like groovy little eco web this whole talk. Okay, so like, say a disturbing event comes along, a tornado done and came through that field. Damn, it tore down that field. Everything got ripped up, all the trees went crazy, they fell down, the lightning came, it was like, screw you, tree, and it fell. Zeus got all pissed and got out of hand. Whatever else happened, then what happens comes along, there's a disturbance, right? Whatever else comes along, what's next is called succession. And all that, what comes first is all the grasses. You'll notice all the different weeds and all the little different grasses, they'd be popping up all over the place. And then you get like this woody tree stuff start to happen. That's like this little shrub layer or whatever. And you got some like little shrub kind of weed looking plants or whatever. We call them weeds, but this is only because we don't understand what they do. You know what I mean? As a culture, generally, as a species. But we got that. And then you start to get like the savanna type looking thing where you get some trees popping up here and there, like real trees. And then they start to grow. And that's like, oh, we're getting some real trees here that actually grow taller and taller. And all these shrubs that already came up are getting taller and taller. And all the grasses that have disseminated, they might come back. They might recess as the trees get so much that they don't really get light anymore, but in the process, they've all grown and got this herbaceous layer going. You got different flowering plants in this process coming up, right? And this is how nature comes in to after a disturbance, to post-disturbance. So post-disturbance event is an influx of life with a very methodical process. And it's replicated everywhere. And everywhere it happens, of course, it's different plants. But the wisdom of the Mother Earth is the same. You can be in Africa and preach the same thing I'm talking about in Illinois. You feel like you will have different forms of plants, different shapes they take, but the same process comes in across the globe, because this is a united planet we're talking about with very different geographic experiences and the same exact processes. It's fantastic to sit with and think about. Think about that as a metaphor for cultural relationships. Why are we fighting ourselves? You see what I'm saying? We are literally not only the same species, we are made of the same earth that has the same processes. It, like human beings, just wears a different mask, you feel? But point being though, okay, nature tells us how to work. Nature is a supreme force. Guess what? When nature creates something, it nurtures it. And it nurtures it in a way where that thing is given the best it can be under the circumstances available. And this could be, yeah, an invasive weed taking over. That sucks. But what is invasive even? And, some things are more objectively harmful than others. But like, with that said, they create monocultures, which are very harmful to the environment because they're more susceptible to things coming in and harming them, which then wipe everything out there. And not only that, but they just don't foster a general ecological diversity. That's the next point of wisdom, is ecological diversity. If you look at Mother Earth, in a natural setting, there's many, 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 many species of many different varieties in any given place, naturally speaking. When Earth is allowed to be Earth, there's so many different things going on that meets the eye. And when you sit and think with that, why is Mother Earth diverse? Why does Mother Earth have 10 different things in this one little, block of energy that I'm reading in this like square inch, square foot, area? It's because diversity is key to success. Diversity is key to life. Diversity is key to life because it's shown in Earth. Monocultures are fragile ecosystems. It's like a house of cards. If you have all of the same species in one place, all it takes is for one little disturbance that causes that particular plant an issue for all the crop to go done. But when you plant 10 different plants in the same amount of space, your likelihood for success is generally more secure. It's generally more stable. It's more likely because you've ensured not plan A, but plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, L. I think I messed up the alphabet, but you get through all of those different, you got plan A, B, C plus is what I'm trying to say. So I didn't sing it. I didn't sing A, B, C, what I'm saying? So I messed it up probably. But like point being, you get all them different plans. If you plant 10 different plants equal plans, diversity equals resilience. So when you go into this understanding, you can learn so much about life from observing Earth life. Life is Earth. You and me could not be alive if it were not for the things and the energies that we consume, all of which comes off of our planet and the sun, which is hitting our planet and our planet's interface and that relationship with the sun. Let's talk about it. Let's get astrological with this shit. You ready for this? The sun are you ready? The sun is the supreme source of everything in astrology. And why is that? The sun is life. Yeah. It is. Why? Because the sun is what's needed for every single plant to exist. Okay. Not every single, there's probably some crazy ass plant that don't need light, but literally plants. Let's just be real. Plants, all the fucking plants need light. Why do they need light? Because when they take in that sunlight, they transform it into sugar. Photosynthesis, right? They take that light and they say, thank you, God. I love your energy. And they radiate that energy into their pores, into their body. I feel like I'm sunbathing as I'm talking about it. I wish I was, shoot. But for real though, you soak it in and then I am energetically, and then it transforms it into what it needs to live, into sugar. What you and me like so much to touch to our tongue, sugar. Fruit sugar. I love me some fruit sugar. That's from the sun. That's a sun kiss. Why you think Sun Kiss is a brand? Because they done figured it out that it's a kiss of the sun. It's like, but for real though, it is a kiss of the sun. When you take in fructose, when you take in sugar, even plant-based level like green vegetation, you will get some fructose sugar buzz in your life because it's from the sun. And so when you think about that for a minute, how can I foster my relationship with the sun? Eat more plants that need sun to be. Pigs themselves don't need sun. They need to eat the things that the sun went into. Eat the sun straight up. Eat the plants that the sun went into to get the sun, the divine source of everything in astrology in you, the divine God in astrology within you. You know what I'm saying? Eat the sun, be the sun. Now, on that note, I think that like the wisdom of the earth shows us, and another thing that's being shown to me to talk about is the death and endings. And death and endings, you know, they suck. A lot of times they just really cause a deep amount of pain and severance and a void, you know. And I just went through a loss of somebody very close to me and my family. I'm going to talk about at some point. I'm getting closer to talk about with y'all than I have before, but I'm not doing it right now. And so with that said though, loss can be a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like a real fucking asshole. But at the same point that that loss can be all that, loss through nature's lens. If you sit in a forest and you watch the natural environment play out, if you are quiet, you might see uh something go on where maybe an animal like an antelope or maybe a deer, you know, gets eaten by a predator. You know what I'm saying? Now, you and me aren't predators. We are not carnivores. I just talked about that in a separate video. And if you think I'm wrong, you're wrong. You need to go research your own genetic DNA. You need to go research your teeth. These are not carnivore teeth. These little incisor things are not carnivorous. No, they're not. They're not the same teeth. If you look at a wolf's teeth and our teeth, they're not the same teeth. A cat's teeth and our teeth, they're not the same teeth. But point being, I digress. We need to heal our relationship and with death as well. And when you look at death in nature, there are carnivores and predators like wolves or coyotes. Where I grew up, there's a lot of coyotes. And so the coyotes will come along and they will eat the other species. So for example, you could have a wolf eat a deer, right? For example, and that needs to happen in nature because that wolf is a carnivore and they need to kill something to live. And unfortunately, fortunately, whatever, that not fortunately for that deer, right? But that carnivore exists and they exist for an ecological reason because the deer population can get out of control as it has, because guess what? We've killed off a lot of our predators with guns and turned them into pretty, quote unquote, I don't think it's pretty, bloody pelts on the wall that we like to or wear on our bodies. You know what I'm saying? So we've killed all the wolves or whatever. And so we have less predators to go and eat our deer. And now we have a deer population issue. Go figure, you know? But death is a thing that needs to happen for a reason, not just to keep populations in check, because, you know, that's a thing in nature, but in order to let the process continue of nutrient cycling is really what it's at the core of at the end of the day. And by the way, nutrient cycling is a foundational concept of ecology of this planet. If you look at nature and if you look at how nutrients flow through nature, everything is a cycle. Everything feeds into itself. If you look at how a nutrient works through the whole process, it can be come from the sun because it happens through photosynthesis that all these beautiful things happen, and it comes through the minerals in the soil, and it comes from this sacred connection between the two, and the earth and the sun. They just come together and they provide these beautiful nutrients that exist, you know, on our planet. And when that nutrient grows to its fullest, after it dies, after that tree that I spoke about that got lightning bolted, right, falls, if it's let alone, the mycorrhiza will come in and decompose that tree. They will eat that tree and they will turn it into nutrient, just glorious, the glorious soil that has this incredible carbony like structure to it. It's very, very soft and airy. It's like a peat moss almost, if you know what peat moss is. It's very like soft like that and fluffy, you know, if it's left to its own devices. Go to the woods, y'all. Don't believe me. Go to the woods and find it. Find the fallen tree that has been there a long time. Look underneath. Dare to look underneath that tree. Lift it if you can. Just don't let it fall on you. Watch out. Or scrape off the soil beneath it and investigate, explore what is there. And on the surface, you will see this soil layer I speak of. It's fantastic. And you'll probably also see decomposers when it's not the dead of winter. And maybe where you live, this is still going on based on your climate and whatnot. But you can see, you know, decomposers doing their things, beneficial insects. And so death needs to happen so that that structure can go back into the earth and that nutrient cycle can be complete. Because if there was nothing but production, if it was just make, and there was never any like return on what was invested in those processes of making this, right, for lack of better words, if that's never returned back to the source that makes, back to the making source, then it wouldn't work anymore. Then nothing would get made, or what got made would be of lower quality, and it wouldn't be as resilient, it wouldn't be as strong, it wouldn't be as nutrient dense, right? It wouldn't be as fertile. So all that to say, we need to look at how are we as human beings learning from Mother Nature? How are we recycling nutrients in our communities, in our circles, in our environments that we participate in, you know, in our own lives? How are we recycling nutrients? How are we using the earth as a wisdom source? So that's really my wisdom drop for you all today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button because it helps the channel grow. It helps more people get this information. And with that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.